Confidence is not the thing. It's a result of the thing. We're out here trying to create confidence when we're not willing to do the inner work that it takes to be confident. Confidence is about peeling away everything that you're not. Confidence is about giving up pretending that you've got it all together or that you're something else or someone else. And confidence is about being you in an unabashed, unwavering, unapologetic type of way. Quit looking outward for something to make you feel confident. So I've really been exploring a lot more of who I am and allowing more of who I am. And who I am is someone who loves being nude. Now, I don't really relate to it as nude. It's just, I feel really comfortable without clothes on. I feel more comfortable without clothes than with clothes. I used to always joke with my sister or like tease and be like, yeah, my sister's a fashionista and blah, blah, blah. Because like I have no idea how to dress myself sometimes. And so I just, because it's more appropriate to wear clothes outside, I do that. I feel very secure naked, actually. I used to be worried about like how my belly looked or how my legs looked or if they had too many dimples or just different things like that. And something that I noticed, it was actually like on the beach. Notice how everyone's wearing different bikinis, bathing suits, men no shirts or, one pieces, all these different like clothing options, right? But if you just look on a very broad perspective and not stare at any one person and just look at the fact that there's hundreds of people on the beach and we're all doing our thing, living our life at the beach, enjoying our day or whatever, you start to realize no one's really looking and no one's really paying attention. Everyone's probably in their own head about their own body or their own concerns, and they're not even concerned about their body, or they're, maybe they're watching their children play, or they're thinking about work, or maybe reading a book. But, I realized like I would walk down the beach or, at the gym, worried about my body sometimes, and realizing that nobody's focused like that. And if they are, then they got other things. There's other things to worry about. There's other like things to consider. And so when I just kind of like opened that perspective up, I stopped sucking in my stomach or like flexing my abs all the time. And when I stopped flexing my abs like that and nobody noticed and I didn't really look any different, but I felt better. Like I felt relieved, and then I just kind of like relaxed my shoulders and my walk changed up a little bit. And I actually was like, I noticed that I was smiling more, or I was walking with my eyes up because I wasn't walking so tight, trying to hold it all together. And that continued underneath my clothes, which meant it didn't matter if I had clothes on or off, because I'm relaxed in my body. And that made a huge difference. This shifted from feeling relaxed in my body to then practicing being relaxed in my mind. This was a game changer. There was so much more clarity and so much more presence and focus and attention given to just where I was or what I was doing. And after that, I started to notice like different thoughts, like those stress thoughts. If I could relax my stomach, or if I could relax my hips and, again, the way that I walk or feel in my body, then I can change the way I walk, think, feel, and talk from my head. And once I started to loosen up those muscles, I actually dropped from my head to my heart. And that was epic because I wasn't thinking so hard. I wasn't so concerned about money or the way people thought of me or their opinion of how I was being, or if I recorded an entire interview nude, right? And so I dropped into my heart more often, and I started actually discovering what's in there. And more passionate ideas have come from that space. I've been loving fostering the relationships that I have and getting to meet my people, because when you relax your heart, you give up caring in so many ways, because you realize you're living up to a construct. I was trying to live up to, again, that keeping it all together, from keeping the body right and tight, keeping the mind focused and motivated, to keeping your heart like whatever. It just like loosened everything up, and I started to create from that space and love from that space. And it's a much more like tender and gentle and kind and soft and slow paced space. And life is really fun from here. And I feel like that's where a lot of my energy comes from, is knowing like I'm me and I accept me, and I'm okay like learning who I am and then owning who I am and sharing it boldly. This took a little bit of growth. I would share a little bit more of me a little bit at a time. I would dance naked in my IG story, or I drop an F-bomb, but it's just me being me. I got really wound up thinking I was supposed to be some type of appropriate or some type of professional. And that was born a long time ago. That was from childhood, people pleasing and wanting attention, wanting approval, wanting validation, and really jumping through a lot of different hoops to feel approved of or be impressive. And so the more that I did that, and it kind of built up this whole persona of perfectionist, and that I truly wasn't, but I thought I was, and I really liked the positive attention it got me. And so that carried through as athlete, it carried me into teacher, and that was my hardest identity to bust down, was teacher, because I like impacting children. I love teaching them in emotional intelligence. I taught health and PE, and it was always way more about their ability to speak their truth, problem solve from a creative space, explore their passions and their heart, and be kind to each other, than it ever was about, carb counting or running a certain amount of miles or being able to jump a rope. Like, those are all great, and I definitely taught those too, but feeling comfortable in your own skin, feeling comfortable with your ideas and who you know yourself to be. I remember when I was student teaching, watching my host teacher run a lesson, and I'm sitting on the sideline, and I'm sitting next to this 9th grade girl, and I go, "Oh, why aren't you in there?" And she said, "Oh, I sprained my ankle. I'm out for a couple weeks." And I go, "Okay, well," she goes, I'd rather be sitting here next to you." And I'm like, "Well, what's that about?" And she said, "I have no interest in being out there. Like, I'm not confident. I don't fit in. Like, I'm not an athlete. And I get really nervous when I have to be out in the middle of the game." And it was that whole concern about, like, I'm afraid what I look like out there. I'm afraid that I'm not as good as the other girls. And I told her the same thing I realized on the beach that day. Is like, nobody's paying that much attention to you. And I think we go through life that way, thinking everyone's paying attention to us, or everybody's judging what we're doing or how we're doing it or the way that we're being. And everyone's too concerned about themselves to be concerned about you, really. And I think that just gives us the opportunity to let go, practice letting go of what others think of us, or the way we be, or the way we do anything. And when we can let go of that, when I let go of that, I stopped caring about winning anything or achieving the thing or getting the title. And then I started to peel away that identity of teacher. Like, I was that, I'm not that, I'm me. Why am I maintaining an identity that I no longer, a role that I no longer have? I'm allowed to be a 30-year-old woman who loves her body and loves being naked. Like, and it has nothing to do with the fact that I was relating to myself as a teacher. I'm not a teacher right here, right now. And if this, like, shifting this into a video or a something that people are going to watch, if I get to teach anything, it's to be your damn self. To do you, be you, have the life you want. Because the roles go away. Every role I've ever played has gone away. And it'll always shift. We will always shift. And we're allowed to. We're allowed to have desires and preferences. I've gotten some pictures I haven't asked for, and they get blocked right away, real quick. So don't get it twisted, right? But a lot of people, like, not so. I haven't had anybody say, like, I wish I were as brave as you, but it's that a lot of, like, way to go, that's so cool, that's awesome. And then people sending back, like, I tried it and it was weird at first, but it felt good. That was a really fun one to hear, was like, people exploring their own, and it may not just be their body, right? Because I have a lot of messages about share your heart and speak your truth and do what feels right to you. Listen to your heart. And people are doing that. And I love to lead by example. Even when I was a gym teacher, I'm like, I'll never be the overweight gym teacher telling people to run a mile if I can't run one. And I'm not going to tell you to live your heart unleashed if I'm not living my heart unleashed. And so I usually will share myself as much as I know myself. And then over time, the more that I learn, the more that I unleash, the more that I expose, right? Because I didn't know I was passionate enough about being nude to sit in front of a camera and record about it. But it did start with the IG stories. It started with, like, just dancing to your favorite song, getting out of the shower, right? And then it's body positive, like, it's okay to love your body. It's like, one of my biggest transitions, and it happened on Instagram, was like exploring my own beauty or relating to myself as beautiful. And I have a lot of posts like that. It's okay. It's not selfish. It's not conceited. It's celebration. You're allowed to know you're beautiful. You're allowed to believe you're beautiful. And you're allowed to talk about it. I think there's a confusion about the words like humble and meek and whatever. And you're just allowed to celebrate yourself. I also do have, I have a few mirrors strategically set up to catch my body and be like, hey, love you. Looking good over there, right? And so I love it because the aesthetics of it. I have 5 salt lamps in like a 20 by 20 space. The energy here, the crystals, the colors, everything like that. I love it because I keep it calm here. And I really love that because it helps me calm myself and stay out of anxiety, stay out of stress. Because trust me when I say, it's not all, rainbows and sunshine. It's not all perfect, but this is that space to unwind. And I think it's important that everybody creates that space for themselves and that time and the opportunity for themselves to relax and kick back and manage themselves and release the day or release any stress. I have gotten some guys just say like, cool, or I'll get, you know how you can do like the auto reply, so I'll see like fire or like the heart eyes or whatever, and that's, I mean, that's fine enough, that's sweet enough. But one thing that's important to know is like that doesn't mean you're asking for anything. And I think that's a big topic, especially, you know, the Me Too mission has kind of petered out, let's say. It's not so much in the forefront of the news, but consent is always going to be front of the line, right? Like, just because I'm celebrating my body doesn't mean you have to directly send me yours. It's really important, right? Put it on your own news feed, on your own grid, if you want to celebrate yourself. It's important. Everybody gets like 1%, half of 1% of my time. Really. It doesn't always look like that, because even on the days that it looks like a whole ass episode at the top where you're like, oh shit, she's going, right? You still only see, that's at the longest 3 to 5 minutes, right? Of anyone's 24 hours in a day. So while we feel like we have a frequent view of the people that we may follow or watch, there's a lot more in their day. And so as far as like intimacy is kind of how I heard your question, is I have my own intimacy practices, or the way that I spend time with my body intimately. And so when it's on Instagram, it's usually in celebration mode. And that's really what it is like celebrating how much I love my relationship with myself and my relationship with my body, and especially the way that I feel like I've grown as a woman. I do, like, it's fun and I still be funny, but I feel so much more mature than I did. And by mature, I mean like I've taken ownership over this body. Like I was saying before, I used to suck it in and doubt and wonder. Now I just love it. I love this body so much. I literally either journal or I out loud acknowledge. I love my smile. I love my shoulders. I love my hair. I love my cheeks. I love my lips. I love my hips. I love my belly. I love my back. I love my feet. And so I spend time acknowledging all the different parts and realizing that they've been with me my whole life, and they will be with me my whole life. Like, when you think about it, about the fact that you are your best friend, you'll never lose this relationship. Ever. So the sooner you can become your own best friend, the better. Because that's just sweet. I have different relationships to my body. You know, like, I could be looking at my forehead and be like, oh, there's a lot of lines there already. Shoot, I don't like that. I used to really not like my skin, the way it would break out. And the more that I've cared for myself, the happier I've become, the less stressed that I've become. My skin has cleared up over time. And so I've really struggled with liking my skin and the way that it would break out. What do I like the least? Sometimes I like my legs the least. Sometimes I like least that the dimples in my backs of my legs, honestly. And I don't think anybody, that's the best part or favorite part. I like my eyes a lot. I like looking into other people's eyes. I love this tattoo. I love that my shoulder tattoo and my be here now right there. Sometimes I like my legs more than other times. I do like my butt. In fact, what was I telling you earlier? Talking about working out. I only start to do my squats again when I notice my butt's going away, because I do like my butt. I like my boobs. I got breast augmentation when I was 23, right out of college. That's a news flash. So, as a young girl and as an athlete, I was like I didn't have breasts, period. Like, not even an A. And I would wear sports bras all the time, and I was incredibly self-conscious. incredibly self-conscious about it. And I always felt super masculine. And I never liked that I didn't fill shirts out or dresses. And I didn't like that part about myself. And it was something that I had promised myself. Like, I remember even knowing I wanted breast augmentation in like middle school. I was like, I hope I grow boobs. That was how I felt. I hope I grow boobs. And I never did. Not ever. Not once. I would even gain weight and I would never like grow boobs like other people do. And so it was something I just said, like, I always knew I wanted it, and I never treated it like it was something that I would follow through on. And then right out of college, my first paycheck, I started my Roth IRA and I started my little boob fund. And I had it the very first year out of college. Like, I taught, and that first summer after my first year teaching, I actually switched schools. So I was personally relieved by that, because I thought like people would judge me or have something to say, or, whatever. And so, and I didn't want people to think I was fake, because I'm not. Like, I'm not a fake personality person. And I thought that people would think it was super superficial, and that I didn't love myself otherwise, and none of that was true. So I've never really made a point to tell anybody, because I wouldn't want them to. I always thought they would take me less seriously or something of the sort. But I got the surgery and proceeded with life, and hardly anybody knows. In fact, like, obviously most people don't know unless I tell them, and I'm open to telling them now, because it's kind of I've seen two women now take out their implants and take a stand against it, saying like, I'm pure, I'll live a pure life, and this and that. And I don't think it makes you impure, and I would choose to do it 100 times over, actually. And people have asked me about it, and I've told them it's still my single best purchase, single best decision, like, because it brought some balance to my body that brought some balance to my mind, honestly. And I'm grateful for that. I'm really grateful for that. And to anybody who is considering it, like, you always go get a consultation or whatever, but if it's something that you truly you think you want, you can, like, just start asking about it. But I've always been grateful that I've done it. Even breast augmentation, like, it's great. It's wonderful. I love it. I love filling a dress. I love the way I feel and look. But I love what's underneath those breast implants. That big old heart. I love being me. I love expressing my truth. I love sharing love. And that was the biggest breakthrough I've ever had. A male coach actually called me out and said, you're never going to feel loved by somebody the way you want, because you keep hiding out about how much you love them, about how much you love people, about how much you care. And I just started bawling, because I was like, oh my God, I can't love people as much as I want to, because I love people so much it physically hurts. And he's like, no, when you let it outside of you, it doesn't hurt anymore. The pain is coming from trying to manage it or constrict it or structure it. And so I fully unleashed my heart. I told people I love them, that like it, and it scared me. I said things that I'd never said to people I thought I never would. And not just in the way of love, but like the fierce love, like tough love. Saying things to people that I thought would cause me to lose them. And the more I did that, I didn't have a care in the world, because I knew I was giving out what I had. And whether it was received or not, too bad. That's no love lost, because there's more where that came from. And so, to the women who are seeking confidence, find yourself, love yourself, then you can share yourself. Confidence will be oozing from every pore because you don't need to find that love or approval anywhere else. And you get to unleash it because you're the one who had it all along.